What's going on, everyone? Welcome to our first ever Selection Sunday and college basketball stream. Going to take a look at the March Madness bracket that just officially got released just about over an hour ago. We saw some of the matchups on the CBS broadcast watching that go down. A couple of the teams getting bounced. Obviously, team that I like to get in was Pitt. Didn't end up making it. A couple of the matchups that we saw over this weekend. Teams like Temple and Duquesne winning their brackets, obviously getting in.
Temple didn't win.
Temple did, or
Temple
I'm
lost
thinking
to
more
UAB.
Duquesne, but yeah, just matchups like that kind of, or what I saw kind of led Pitt out. Obviously, North Carolina losing the ACC title game. We saw some good matchups over the past couple of days, but brackets finally official. Going to go ahead, kind of go through it. We're going to start out in the East. Just going to kind of go through some of these first round matchups and kind of who we like to advance. Not obviously, we don't have any spreads for any of these games yet. And obviously, more of the 8 versus 9, 5, 12. A lot of the closer matchups are going to be more debatable. We'll start up in the East bracket, or the East region, I should say. UConn, Stetson. I don't think anyone's taking Stetson to take down UConn in this matchup. I have UConn obviously moving on, and then a nice 8 versus 9 FAU Northwestern matchup on the other side. Mackie, I like this Northwestern team. They get a win here. I don't love this FAU team this year. I don't think obviously they're going to do anything close to what they did last year. I have them as a first round exit here to Northwestern.
Yeah, Final Four team last year, but that I don't see it this year. I think Northwestern is strong. Boo Booey, having an insane year.
Last year at Northwestern too.
Yeah,
Like they got to get.
I think he'll get a win in the tournament for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And then obviously the 5 versus 12 matchup in the East region, we have San Diego State, another team like FAU that went very far last year to the Final Four. Were they in the national championship game against UConn?
Yeah. Yes.
San Diego State, a national champion runner-up last year, now getting a matchup as a 5 seed against UAB. If I'm correct, they were a 5 seed last year as well, weren't they?
4 maybe, but yeah,
4 or
right around
5,
there.
right around there. But UAB, obviously, that was the close game yesterday. Looked like Temple was going to have a chance there, but UAB comes out with a win, wins their conference, gets this 12 seed. I like San Diego State. I'm not huge on this UAB team. Obviously, those mid-major teams, everyone loves to pick the 12 over the 5. I think San Diego State just plays that defensive style that they'll get the win, advance themselves to the round of 32. And then on the other side of this matchup, you have the winner going up against the winner of Auburn versus Yale. Auburn, SEC champions. We had them today, -5.5. I like this Auburn team a lot. I'm going to have them get this first round win matchup to take on San Diego State in the second round.
Yeah, these are two. I mean, they're not easy matchups. UAB winning a tough AAC conference. You got to remember the Mountain West is notorious for not winning games in March. I know besides San Diego State last year ended up making a finals run, but they do not win games in March. That's just what they do. So if last year was a fluke, you could see a tight game in UAB there, who's coming off a pretty good conference win. But I think Auburn rolls. Auburn just rolled through a SEC championship.
I love
I
this
don't think
Auburn
Yale
team.
has.
I really do.
Yale was I think they were a 3 seed in the Ivy this year. They weren't even top dog. Brown got knocked off, so they ended up winning it. But I don't think they're enough competition for Auburn. Auburn's too quick.
They're so good. I love Bruce Pearl. I love that. I think this is a year Auburn could go on a run. Kind of, I said we weren't going to kind of allude to matchups, but I think they're kind of a threat. I have them kind of matching up against UConn later on down the road, but we'll get to that probably Wednesday when we make our official bracket picks and stuff on that stream. We'll make that a little bit more college basketball as well. I mean, you can kind of give our official brackets if we want to, but we'll jump over into the 6 versus 11 seed.
BYU's gonna roll.
BYU versus Duquesne. Duquesne sneaks in and wins the A10. Yeah, I as well. I have BYU winning this game to take on Illinois in the second round. I'm not big on this Morehead State team as well. Don't know much about them, but I've doubted Illinois enough. I'm not taking them to lose in the first round of the tournament. I have Illinois versus BYU in the first round or in the second round.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't see any upsets there. This is just two teams who just need to take care of business. Illinois coming off a nice Big Ten championship as well. You could see them kind of fall flat in their face. We've seen it multiple times coming into the tournament. But, I mean, this team's too talented to lose to a team like Morehead State.
Yeah. And then we'll move over into the last two matchups, the 7 versus 10 and the 2 versus 15, and the 7 versus 10 seed with Washington State team that slipped up towards the end of the Pac-12 tournament there, going up against Drake in the 7 versus 10 game. I have Washington State getting back on top here, handling their business as the 7 seed and taking on Iowa State in the round of 32. Another team that we doubted. I doubted Iowa State. I said I don't love this team. They're really fucking good. I have to respect them now. I have Washington State versus Iowa State in the second round.
I'm gonna go Drake there on that 10-7 matchup. Drake can shoot the lights out of the ball, and we've seen Washington State really struggle against teams that can really shoot. This is just a pretty bad matchup for them, in my opinion. I'm gonna go Drake, and I mean this Iowa State team. It just screams Final Four. I think they steamrolled South Dakota State here.
Absolutely. Yeah, so obviously that's the East region. We'll move down into the West. 1 versus 16, UNC smokes whoever they play here. This team, I think we both agree, we put out a future on them. I think they're obviously going to be going pretty far. I think UNC rolls no matter who they play. Going up against, I like them to get Michigan State. I think Michigan State's one of the hotter teams right now. They've been winning some games. Obviously, didn't have a great tournament run. Not the team that everyone expected Michigan State to be coming into this year. I think they get back to it and get North Carolina versus Michigan State matchup in the second round, 8 versus 9. Give me that 9 seed, and I think North Carolina beats them to move on to the Sweet 16. But I like Michigan State versus North Carolina in the second round here.
Yeah, I definitely disagree with that. I think Mississippi State has a nice team over there. Michigan State, you heard Ryan Hammer say it. Tom Izzo struggles to make in-game adjustments, and this is a team that you're going to have to make in-game adjustments with. And this roster, this Michigan State roster, is very talented, but they have not seemed to put it together all season. They snuck into the tournament. I think that they're the least. They're the last team that deserves it out of all the teams that actually made it to the tournament. I think Mississippi State rolls. I think Tolu Smith has a big game. Hubbard, whatever his name is, also has a great game at the point. That's going to be a good game, but I think Mississippi State pulls it out. They also finished the tournament pretty strong as well. But yeah, North Carolina. I mean, you already know how we feel about them. They did draw a very good bracket or a very good region here. 2 seed Arizona. We know what they come to. When it comes to March, 3 seed in Baylor. Baylor is not the strongest, and Clemson at the 4. It's
Alabama
Clemson's
at the
4
4.
or Alabama at the 4. Yeah, I mean, you could see Alabama get bounced early too. I think that this is a good region for them.
Yeah. Then the next one we have is the Grand Canyon going up against St. Mary's in a 5 versus 12 matchup here. Who do you have in this matchup? And then obviously the other side of this one, Bama versus Charleston. We'll kind of switch things over to you, and you can kind of make a couple picks and then hand things back.
Yeah, I don't know much about Grand Canyon. I'm not gonna lie. I have
3
not
losses
seen
on the year. They're definitely one of the
3.
better mid-major teams. They're a
Okay.
scary 12 seed.
St. Mary's is strong too, though. I mean, you beat Gonzaga twice this year. You got a WCC championship. That's a tough St. Mary's team. I know they're a 5 seed. We know what the 5 seeds 5-12 matchup always is notorious for, but I don't know. I think St. Mary's kind of ekes this one out. Alabama Charleston. Bama gives up a lot of points, so it honestly just matters if their offense comes to play. I think Bama can eke it out, but this Charleston team is also aren't they also like a 30-win team?
Yeah.
Yeah, this Charleston team is also no joke. So this could be a pretty bad matchup for Alabama. You got to see if their offense comes to play. They're
Yeah.
going to give up the points.
I did in this bracket I made right now. I went with Grand Canyon as one of my 12. I don't know if I have another one, but the 12 versus 5 upset. Obviously, like you said, everyone knows that St. Mary's, like you said, coming off that conference championship. Grand Canyon, same thing. Like I said, another 30-win team. Give me them for sake of the conversation as the 12 seed to move on and play Alabama in the second round. But like you said, we'll get into the 6 seed versus 11. You said Clemson is the 6 seed, New Mexico at the 11. And then Baylor versus Colgate is a 14 versus 3 seed matchup. I know New Mexico is very good, and I do like that New Mexico team. I've started to catch on to them a little bit. I have Clemson versus Baylor in the second round here. I don't know about you.
Oh, dude, this New Mexico team is definitely going to be my underdog of the first round. I think this line will maybe sit at 2.5, if that. This New Mexico team is really good, and they just
They're
won.
good.
They just won the Mountain West out there
Yeah.
against tough teams out there too, and they come out on top. Clemson, we've seen how many weaknesses they've had this year. I mean, I wouldn't trust that team against anyone, not against
Committee clearly doesn't think the Big Ten or the Mountain West is a good conference. You see what all these good teams out there got as seeds. Like Nevada's a play-in or whatever 8 seed. Nevada's
Where's
a 10
Utah
seed.
State?
Utah State's an 8 seed. Like they're the best. They're the highest ranked team.
Yeah, and you get the respect from San Diego State just because they were in the championship last year,
Yeah, I was gonna say you have to give it to them.
but yeah, I honestly really like this New Mexico team. I think that they can maybe even win a few games here. I'm gonna go New Mexico over Clemson. Um, Baylor's pretty strong. They've had a tough schedule all season. You gotta assume they're gonna steamroll a team like Colgate, but yeah, I'm gonna go Baylor here.
Yeah. 7-10 Dayton, Nevada, 2 versus 15 Arizona, Long Beach State. Who you got here?
I love Arizona, but do you trust them here? You can never trust them, in my opinion, and they're a 2 seed. 2 seeds get beat as well. I'm gonna say Arizona gets by, but I not one I'll be touching. Who's the other one? Dayton, Nevada. I'll go Dayton. I'll go Dayton. Again, Mountain West does not win games in the in the tournament, so I'm gonna go Dayton here just off that
Yeah.
trend.
I also have Arizona and Dayton getting out of that. Like you said, Arizona is definitely the scary 2 seed. I don't know much about
No
Long
matter
Beach State,
what,
but
no matter what.
they play down to their competition is their problem.
Yeah, definitely.
We will head to the South region where Houston takes on Longwood. Houston will smack them. They'll just play that defensive style ball. They've
Oh
struggled.
my god, man.
This one,
Longwood's gonna score 35
I
points.
was gonna say this is gonna look like Houston did against Iowa State in the Big 12 championship, but and then Nebraska A&M. I like Nebraska. I've been big on this Nebraska team. I got to go with them. I have Houston beating them in the second round, but I have Houston versus Nebraska in the second round.
I'm gonna call it game of the first round. I mean, before the games start, obviously, but this is a very good matchup. I love both these teams. Texas A&M is getting really hot at the right time. We know Nebraska. We know Tomi Naga. He can go up for 25 in the first half, and they can have a 15-point lead. But I don't know. I'm gonna go Nebraska as well. But this is gonna be a bloodbath. This is gonna be a great game. This can go either way.
Yeah, I agree. The 5 versus 12, we kind of already alluded to this one. Wisconsin, James Madison, and then Duke versus Vermont. I do have Wisconsin advancing. We had them today against Illinois. I trusted them in that spot. I think they get the job done. I think this is a sketchy 5 versus 12. I think you'll have a lot, for good reason, of people thinking James Madison pulls this off. I have Wisconsin versus Duke in the second round.
Yeah, I'm gonna go JMU. I'm gonna call it, and you know how much we love Wisconsin. We've been on them all year, but JMU shoots the lights out the ball. They got 31 wins this year. They have a win over Michigan State. This is not a matchup you want to see for any 5 seed, and on top of that, it's a 5-12 seed, 5-12 matchup. Wisconsin did look very good in that Big Ten tournament, though. You're going to see a huge game out of Chucky Hepburn. Obviously, AJ Storr is going to get his. He's the X factor in this game. If AJ Storr can play like he should be in the NBA, like the best that he can, Wisconsin's going to win this game because he's going to be the best player on the floor. But if he's not if he's not hitting shots, if he's not driving the rim and just taking advantage of his athleticism, JMU is going to have a field day. I'm going to go
Absolutely.
Duke though over Vermont.
Yeah. And then the other two, we have the 6 versus 11, 3 versus 14, Texas Tech versus NC State, the ACC champion NC State Wolfpack, and then Kentucky versus the 14 seed in Oakland. I have NC State taking down a Texas Tech team, and then Kentucky advancing as well to get NC State versus Kentucky in the second round.
I'm going to go Tech here. Big 12's too good. I mean, these teams are just playing great competition to game in, game out. I'm gonna go Tech, even though NC State just won an ACC championship, and Kentucky as well.
And then the last two in this region, we have Florida going up against the winner of Boise State versus Colorado. I have Colorado winning that game. I did like Colorado. We had Colorado last night. That was a tough loss. They started out that game super fast. They were
They
up.
never really deserved it,
I
though.
was going to say, and then as soon as they went down, I was like, I kind of just gave up on it. But I do have Colorado getting in here, Florida versus Colorado, and I do like Florida to get out of the first round. Really, no matter who they play, but I have Colorado there in that spot, going up against Marquette in the second round.
Who is it? It's Colorado, Boise. I'm gonna go Colorado as well, and I'm gonna go Colorado. I like this Colorado team. It's a bold pick, but I'm gonna go Colorado, and Tyler Kolek playing. Will he be
Supposedly,
back?
supposedly they said he'll be back.
It's X factor right there. But
Yeah.
I'll go Marquette.
All right. Last region, we have the Midwest, where Purdue is your 1 seed going up against. I'm not even gonna lie. Forget the one team, Grambling State and Mackey. Do you know the other one?
Montana State.
Montana State. Purdue's gonna win the first game.
Are
Utah
they?
State. Yeah, they will.
Are they? Back
Utah
to back?
State. Yes, Utah State versus TCU as the 8 versus 9. I have Utah State advancing. That's a tough Mountain West Big 12 matchup. I don't love this TCU team. I think Utah State gets a win on takes on Purdue in the second round.
I don't love this TCU team either, but Mountain West does not win games in March. Give me TCU.
And then we have the 5 versus 12 in the Midwest region. Gonzaga going up against McNeese and Kansas going up against Samford. What are your matchups here? Who do you have advancing here?
Nightmare situation for Gonzaga. McNeese has 30 wins this year. They shoot the lights out of the ball. They're 8th in D1 in 3-point percentage as a team. 38%, I think. It's like ridiculous. I think Gonzaga gets bounced. I don't think this team's very strong this year.
I have McNeese as well.
Nemhart has been playing really well, but he's just not going to have it be enough here. Give me McNeese and Kansas.
I kind of think Samford could be an upset as well over Kansas.
I like this Kansas team. If they're healthy, if Dickinson and both McCullers are back, then give me Kansas. Come on.
Yeah, I don't know. I like the way this. I've watched a couple of these Samford games. I think this could be a little upset, a 13 over a 4. I don't. Kansas hasn't played or Dickinson and McCullers haven't played the whole Big 12 tourney. I don't know. They haven't played in a couple of days. I like Samford to get a win here. This could be obviously a bigger spread, but I don't know if I'm actually going to bet it. But this is one of the ones I'll be calling. Next matchup: 6 versus 11, South Carolina versus Oregon, Creighton versus Akron. I have South Carolina going up against Creighton in the second round.
I'm going to go Oregon Creighton. Dude, Oregon looks good, don't they?
I know. I think
South Carolina's been weak.
I think South Carolina gets back on what everyone expected them to be through the midseason when they were starting to rise up the rankings. I think they'll get a win here.
30-point loss to Auburn.
Cross-country flight for Oregon coming to Pittsburgh for this matchup. I like South Carolina.
I didn't know it was in Pittsburgh. That's big. We'll see.
Yeah, and then we have the 7 versus 10, Texas versus UVA or Colorado State, and then Tennessee versus St. Peter's. This is an interesting one because if it's UVA, I like UVA. If it's Texas versus Colorado State, I like Texas. So take that for what it's worth. But I like Tennessee to take the win in the other matchup. I like Tennessee to go far this year.
Let me just say, Virginia should not be in the
I agree.
Tournament. They should simply not be in the tournament.
But if they get in the actual spot as a 10 seed, I like.
Who are they playing? Colorado State.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that they're gonna get in. But I like Texas. Texas finished the season really strong. That guy Abmas or whatever his name is, I don't even know. But he's playing really well. I'm gonna go St. Peter's just because I have no logic on it. But we've heard the Cinderella story before. We're gonna get another dug dirt. Tennessee gonna fall flat in their face. Someone's gonna do it. There's gonna be a 2 seed that loses. And
who's
if it's
the
not
most
Arizona,
likely? I think it's Arizona.
If it's not Arizona, it could be Tennessee.
I think it's most likely to be Arizona.
It's not going to be Iowa State. Iowa State is the best 2 seed.
Then Marquette, if Marquette doesn't have Tyler Kolek. I think Tennessee's good.
Tennessee. Nope. They're going to get beat.
All right. Yeah, I think Wednesday we'll go through our kind of like official brackets or however we want to do it. We can just kind of say our Elite 8 and Final 4, and that can kind of, you know what I mean? Everyone else can kind of allude with what we said today and then put the piece together with what our Elite 8 and Final 4 is instead of going through every matchup like we said. But, yeah, that's going to do it. Matt, do you want to go through? Do you have a bracket done yet, Mackie?
No, I do not. Actually, my first time looking at it was right before this started. So
all right. So I was going to say we could do our Final 4 picks, but if you don't even have a bracket done yet, let's save that for Wednesday. We'll go through our picks. Like I said, we'll just kind of give everyone our Elite 8 matchups, our Final 4 matchups, and then go from there.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
Cool. All right. Sounds good. Yeah. Selection Sunday for Selection Sunday stream in the books. Make sure you stay in tune Wednesday. Going to go through all our official picks for the bracket, as well as probably announce some early lines that we're liking for Thursday in the first round games. But yeah, thanks for listening. And we'll see you guys on Wednesday night for the stream to go over this stuff. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you then.